All right, good morning. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming. We're here to talk about a crime that occurred on Monday morning here in Chester County, and two arrests that were made yesterday as in relation to that murder. Based on our investigation thus far, there was a lady that was found in the northern part of Chester County on Monday morning on Carpenter Road in the Lewis Turnout community of Chester County. Our investigators, to include the Chester County Coroner, SLED, and the Solicitor's Office, all of those agencies worked that crime scene and left that crime scene about 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Well, around that same time, the city police department here in Chester had gotten information that someone was missing from the Walmart, they believed at the time, from Walmart. And so they communicated that to us within a short period of time, and we started putting two and two together. And of course, there was video there at the Walmart. We had to go through all that, and it was determined that the lady who was missing from the Walmart, who been last seen at the Walmart, was in fact our victim, who we had not identified at the time until we talked with the investigators with the city. That victim, her name is Linda Welch Robinson. She's a white female, age 63, of Blackstock, South Carolina. That is in the Fairfield County side of Blackstock. Now, Miss Robinson is a wife. She's a mother, and an extremely good-hearted lady. I believe some of you talked to her family, and as you can tell, she had a wonderful reputation of helping people. And in fact, that's what we believe happened. It appears to date, right now, that on the morning of August the 2nd, sometime before noon, Miss Robinson was en route to Chester to pick up some medicine for her husband at the Walmart. While she was en route, she noticed that a vehicle was broke down on the side of the road, and there were two individuals there with the vehicle. She stopped, just like anybody else would, and asked if they needed help, and she offered to give them a ride. And so she gave them a ride to Chester, to the Walmart, and because that's where she needed to be. And so she did that. She went inside, she did her shopping, picked up the medicine and some other items, returned to the vehicle. They stayed in the vehicle while she was inside. Then, at some point, when she returned to the vehicle, there were conversations that led her to drive to the area of Carpenter Road in northern Chester County. At that point, while in the area of Lewis Turnout, she was murdered. And I'll tell you that she was not murdered with a knife or a gun. I'll just leave it at that, and the warrant states that it was blunt force trauma. Her body was removed from the vehicle, was left in the ditch, and the two individuals stole her car, and they began driving it around the region. Now, of course, George Fail, also known as Cy, and with Henson, Harris, Amber Nicole Harris. Those are the two individuals that I'm talking about, and I don't want to mention their name anymore because they have committed a heinous crime on a lovely individual. And so those two, they took that vehicle. We have evidence that they drove that vehicle to Fairfield County to go somewhere where there was an appointment that Harris had an appointment for. We have evidence that they drove that to Richburg and other areas. And I say the region, they may have gone into other counties. But so during the course of the investigation, we found that vehicle. As you know, we found that vehicle on Monday night, about 8 o'clock, off of James F. Weary Road. When we found that vehicle, we immediately called SLED crime scene, and there's a lot of people I got to thank here in a little bit, but they're certainly important to this because their crime scene unit came up on initially Monday morning when we found the body, and then they came back from Columbia. That same team came back and processed that vehicle, and they stayed here all night. They stayed here all night Monday night processing that vehicle. During the processing of that vehicle, there was some evidence that was obtained, and again, those are details I'm not going to get into, but I'll just say we were able to see some valuable evidence from that vehicle that led us to identifying Cy as being one of the persons of interest. And so that's when the men and women of this agency really went to work. Of course, they've been going to work day in and day out every day here, but they really went to work by putting the pieces together and identifying Cy's associates and relationships. And so they then identified that his girlfriend was Harris, and they went to her house up on Proposal Avenue in the northern part of Chester. And they found her, they began interviewing her, they were able to secure a search warrant at that residence. They also seized valuable evidence there. And then through the evidence found, through interviews, and certainly through video evidence that we were able to obtain, we were able to secure arrest warrants for both of those individuals for murder. Of course, she was already with us, so she was immediately arrested here. And I'll tell you, within 30 minutes of us calling Sheriff Bale, telling him that arrest warrants had been signed, his deputies had Cy in custody.